All right, welcome back to the round one game of GP Ottawa. We have Styles versus Ambrose. What deck are those guys on? Because I haven't checked yet.
So Styles is on, as you can see from the opener, mono black, poison midrange. So really basic Valdez style list where Valdez plus 8 discard spells. At least when the deck was initially made was supposed to tell on Valdez. Now much less important, but still 12 discard spells, Bloodjay Prophet to refuel, good mid-range threats. So Profane Emissary, Infectious Ego, as well as a new Orc Soulweaver. And some amount of value just kind of in there. Mistress of the Black Orchid being a new card.
And
Meanwhile, Ambrose is on Mardu, spell focus mid range, kind of.
with Fireweaver, because it's 80 cards.
Yeah, so is playing Fireweaver is maybe a bit reminiscent of Tyrant's Maneuver in a way. Just playing a lot of very solid cards, a lot of nice interaction. Couple of planeswalkers, and also playing some amount of combo kill stuff with, or not combo kill, but combo oriented stuff with Hassel's Maneuver and Prix-worthy, and a couple other interactions there, much the same way as Tyrant's Breath plus Hassel's Maneuver, as well as Herald of Oblivion combo featuring Provoke the Gods. So play Provoke the Gods, go down to 1 life or whatever, grab Herald of Oblivion plus Selvar's Defiance, and kill from there.
So anyways, it's already the second turn. So Styles has curved out. Styles has a really good curve in their hand. Turn 1 Mind Fortress, turn 2 Profane Emissary, turn 3 Bloodjade Prophet.
Yeah, so that will be stopped by Ambrose's Prying Inquiry.
Oof.
Gonna be interesting to see what Styles does here. Imagine fetching wait, what I forget what the main deck demon is in Mono Black Poison. I think it's Kaijiao.
Yeah.
So Kaijiao would be a very nice thing to fetch here. Turns on Profane Emissary, puts a lot of pressure on Ambrose. And Styles doesn't know it, but maybe they can infer that X4s are not fun for Ambrose to deal with.
Yeah, because they survived the 3 damage removal spells.
Yeah, this Prix-worthy not looking so hot when your opponent's on a bunch of X4s.
And I wouldn't have thought of that. Like, I would just fetch Polyp Pools blindly and then probably get super punished for that.
Well, I mean, you won't get punished, but you would be doing nothing else during your turn, which is kind of awkward.
I mean, that's kind of a punish.
So, like, with the sequencing, how Styles has done it, they can either draw naturally, try to Infectious Ego and a Bloodjay Prophet, or if they really want to, they can fetch Polyp Pools if they are a bit worried about the Profane Emissary. That would let them activate Swarming Midden, which is something.
Yeah, it makes tokens, so like it keeps up the board pressure.
But definitely this turn 3 is very nice to Styles, knowing what Ambrose has in hand, because this Prying Inquiry, even Ambrose knows it's dead, and this Prix-worthy is not looking so hot.
So I guess Ambrose this turn is just going to crack a clue and then play a tap land, and then next turn Provoke the Gods, I guess. Is that too slow? Does Styles already have lethal by then?
Yeah, Styles has just Stone 7 on the board, so...
Oh, okay, so...
needs some interaction.
Oof. Okay, yeah, I think... Wait, no, well, Infectious Ego doesn't kill lands yet because Ambrose is only on 3 permanents.
Yeah, but definitely... So, if Styles is playing really heads up here, they could actually just animate the Swarming Midden to get some more damage in.
Yeah, play around board wipes.
Because Ambrose did hit this Ignition Ritual off the Crew crack. So if Styles did activate this Swarming Midden there, it would actually remove Ignition Ritual as a way out of this.
Well, now Infectious Ego is just going to get swept up by Ignition Ritual.
Yeah. Still definitely at least a reasonable spot for Styles.
I mean, of course.
Because Ambrose going to 3, the Swarming Midden will go down, put them down to 1. But there wasn't really a clear path to victory for Styles, because this Prix-worthy is going to do a lot of work in stabilizing Ambrose against Swarming Midden.
I mean, Styles could have just kept Infectious Ego in hand in case Ambrose got board wiped, right? And then drop Infectious Ego while Ambrose has 4 lands out so that you actually get an Infectious Ego sack right away. Yeah,
maybe more to the point, if Styles just animated Swarming Midden there and just attacked, and Ambrose board wiped, Swarming Midden would just be, or if specifically Ignition Ritual. I don't know if Ambrose has another way to work the board.
Are they running Face to Dawn?
That is a good question. Let me check. Looks like Ignition Ritual is the only sweeper.
Huh. I feel like you should be running at least one copy of Faceadon to fetch with Provoke, because that's a really good synergy.
Yeah. But Styles, it's possible that you could just infer that Ignition Ritual is just the only way out for Ambrose there, in which swinging mid and animation is just going to be the win.
Yeah.
But now it definitely becomes a bit awkward, since Styles is hellbent and Ambrose has a lot of ways to stabilize here.
Pay up. Okay, do you pay up here or do you just activate midden? Yeah,
I'm just going to activate midden. Honestly, not like the stone worst draw, because I guess it is pretty bad. I was thinking that maybe it gives you info on Proveworthy, but I think Ambrose is always going to cast Proveworthy regardless of whether or not you attack, because this rat does give a target for the creature mode.
Yeah, but you would want to hit the land because that's more value.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, midden is only 2 points, or 2 and then 3. So, and Proveworthy gains 6. So by the time swing midden is killing Ambrose, Provoke with the Gods for Herald is probably killing Styles.
Yeah, I'm assuming just pass and hold up Proveworthy.
Yeah, not really anything else reasonable to do. I mean, everything else leaves you dead on board, it looks like, so.
Okay, you can pay up and activate midden.
So this pay up will give Styles information on the Proveworthy. Do you activate midden here, knowing that Proveworthy is coming down?
Or does Ambrose snap off the Proveworthy so that it can't be a choice for pay up, so that Styles is less likely to get a treasure?
I mean, the treasure seems pretty irrelevant here.
Yeah, you just discard the Flames approach and you're pretty happy.
Yeah, or even the Prying Inquiry.
Hey, at least that thing gives you a
great here.
clue, like at minimum, right? Oh wait, it kills you, never mind.
Yeah, that's I mean, it won't kill Ambrose after the Proveworthy, but I guess one thing we haven't touched on too much is Ambrose's sideboard, which is 11 Fireweaver targets and 4 key blocks, which is a very interesting sideboard.
What targets do they have that would be relevant here? Oh, that's a lot of targets. Yeah.
So Prying Inquiry was discarded to the pay up. Styles decided not to animate the Swinging Midden, which I think is a great call.
Yeah. So
even though it's pretty likely that this Provoke the Gods is gonna win the game in short order.
Let's gain 6 life, kill a creature. The damage to face doesn't matter that much right now. And you can shuffle away the fatigue with your fetch land on your upkeep. So you're really happy with the outcome right now. Does it not have fatigue attached?
Yeah. The fatigue doesn't work in the normal Cockatrice build, because you need to the normal tokens are delete one leave the battlefield. You need the Conjure build to do anything.
Yeah. I have to assume Ambrose got the Conjure build because they played Maze Collection like a few GPs ago, right? Actually, how long ago was that anyways? I lost track of time.
That was I mean, that was 8-sack, Dreamsight 8-sack, right?
Yeah, Dreamsight Minister 8-sack, so that's...
And that was the first time you played it.
Is that
so
like
that was what?
Half a year ago already at this point?
Was that?
Has it been that long?
GPG? It hasn't been that long. Oh, actually, I guess maybe half a year. Hold on. How long it was? I think it was... I don't even remember what GPG was.
It was the one that... Or was it GP after the new sets came out? Yeah, I think so.
No, that was an 8-sack.
What GP was the... When was Fenev / Karina's Expedition in the format? Or added to the format?
Yeah, so that was GP Houston, was when you first played Minister 8-sack.
Yeah,
so
what month was that?
What one? O, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Yeah, so it was 7 GPs from there.
It's already 7 months. I still remember the deck like it was yesterday.
I mean, 6 months from the second time you played it, I guess.
Anyway, so back to the game. So Ambrose decides to fetch a corpse bed. The exiled mind falters, so they don't have to worry about that anymore. Because I didn't realize that the mind falters was going to come out next turn. Because Styles has 6 mana up, or 6 mana
I mean,
available.
that's still... I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, but it is a bit of an odd choice considering Provoke the Gods is a kill. Styles goes for the mind falters.
I mean, it's not super obvious.
I mean, yeah, Amelia Ambrose, I think, has mentioned that they are net decking this. So, and it is a 1,000,000 card deck, so definitely not the most obvious, but...
Unrivaled Fireweaver. Well, Ambrose has to think now, because there's lots of choices, and I don't think any of them are obvious.
I mentioned the actual choice is Imperial Siege.
Oh, yeah, I guess that works.
That immediately stands out to me.
Proveworthy. Well, I mean, that also prevents a midden attack, I guess.
Yeah, not the most exciting thing if Style just doesn't animate Midden, but
Well, I mean, what else are they going to do? They have nothing else.
well, I mean they just don't, and then Approve Worthy is a bit sad. Whereas Ambrose could have just Imperial Siege the Midden.
If Styles
Feels
doesn't
like a
do
bit of
anything, then I mean that's also really bad for them.
yeah, but for example, if Styles drew a Infectious Ego there, Ambrose feels a bit silly. But I suppose the Approve Worthy plus the Flames approach does clear an Infectious Ego. I guess if they draw another, Styles draws another, the Mind Falters. I guess they couldn't both play it and coalesce it.
Yes, they can off the treasure, right? Or I guess if
Yeah,
they
but
did
they
raw
wouldn't have
land.
the 6th land. Yeah.
Is this enough mana for a combo kill now?
It is, but
Seems like
I'm getting the impression that
oh,
doesn't realize that there's a combo kill in the deck. This does seem safe. Well, actually, no, this isn't safe for Styles because they know that the Flames approach is in
what?
Ambrose's hand.
That's a weird time to fetch this thing, but sure.
I guess they want to preserve the Fireweaver for some reason. I'm missing something here.
I think no, I don't think you're missing anything. I think it's Ambrose who's missing something, and they're trying to provoke the gods because they didn't realize that Midden could kill the unrivaled Fireweaver.
I mean, they didn't pay any life for the provoke, so
They don't have to.
Hailed. I mean, yeah, but I'm thinking Hailed. I mean, Twilight Ambush does preserve the Fireweaver, which is something. But
Yeah, I guess that's.
this feels a bit weird when you can just let the Fireweaver die and Flames approach the Midden.
Then you don't have anything on board anymore. I guess you still want to have something on board.
Well, I mean, I was referring to the one in hand, but you can also just Memento the Flames approach. Great. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's a hand. Yeah, they need to do the one from hand. No mind. I was thinking they had one in graveyard.
There's the
Well,
ego.
Infectious Ego, which is, I guess, okay.
What do you mean, okay? It's like, what's Ambrose going to do to answer this? They're out of answers.
Well, I mean, they can just sack Fireweaver and then go Flames approach, Flames approach. Like,
Are they going to sack Fireweaver after going through all that trouble to keep it alive?
this is part of where it's a bit weird. I mean, they do preserve the Flames approach, I guess, but and then they
1, 2, 3,
sack a land,
4,
so they need a
5,
land drop
6.
here.
Yeah, this does not. This play feels really weird.
Definitely feels like Ambrose could have established a bit of a cleaner win here. Still definitely in the driver's seat, but
Are you sure? I mean, if Styles top second another infectious ego, then I think Ambrose might be in trouble.
yeah, but I mean, I think with another ego top deck, it's probably equalized, but that needs Styles to draw an ego and Ambrose to whiff. So I guess Ambrose doesn't have a clean answer to the ego here since they sacked a land.
Fatigue off the top. What's the chances of drawing that?
Well, I'd say it's a 1 in 58. Quick mental math check there. And I mean, like, yeah, it just seems like Ambrose. I mean, I guess Shiho still probably wins them the game. Like, there's nothing in Styles' deck that answers Shiho here.
Really? I mean, doesn't Styles deck have tons of removal?
Well, yeah, but the problem is the ward stopping Strike from Shadows, which I think it's only one of even.
Well, Ambrose is drawing with fatigue.
Yeah, that doesn't seem great because if you just play Shiho, Demigoddess, eat the Infectious Ego eats the Fireweaver, and then you just God mode Shiho next turn, and that is pretty hard to deal with.
Well, I guess Ambrose is playing out Dark Bargain and sacking it to infect its ego, except Ambrose still doesn't have a trade. Ambrose did not activate the Demigod Shiho, so it can't trade with Infectious Ego. So Ambrose can throw away 2 scenes to kill the ego, I guess.
And it's still okay. I mean, I guess it is a bit uncomfortable being at 4 life, but like Shiho is like really good, right?
Yeah.
And now I think at this point it seems pretty equal with this Mind's approach being flashback coalesce next turn. Like a 4/7 is really big.
Yeah, and that's gonna knock the last card out of Ambrose's hand. Ambrose is thinking. I mean, you just discard Flame's approach here, right? Because that's just value.
I imagine so, yeah. I'm not sure if it ends up mattering, because with how Coalesce works, the creature won't be on the battlefield for prove worth each target.
That's not a very good top deck.
I think that just gets eaten by the Mind Falters. So not that much different than drawing a land.
In fact, it's probably worse than drawing a land, right?
I mean, maybe it's better just because you don't automatically play it out.
The Flames approach is going to be a problem because it has Menace. Yeah, Oros has Menace, so Styles can't block it with a single Mind Falters.
Yeah, Oros is definitely a very fast clock. Women is, I guess, an okay draw. Preserves the treasure is something.
Yeah, that means if Styles top decks another Mind Falters, then they can Mind Falters and Coalesce it in the same turn.
And Oros does have Menace, but Ambrose is at 8, and Mindfalters does have 4 power, so is like kind of a close race, sort of. I guess this prove worthy messes up the math a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, if Ambrose wants to trade with Mind Falters, they can, with Prove-worthy plus Oros plus Fireweaver. Okay, seems like, yeah, Ambrose is just attacking. If Stouts attacks Mind Falters, do they just die next turn to Ambrose board?
Yeah, they died to the 6 points from Oros, 2 from Fireweaver, and 3 from Prove worthy. Well, I guess, yeah, because the Prove worthy also clears the swing mid and it's a blocker.
Ambrose is going to get a clue and then keep up Prove-worthy.
Yeah, so Styles has seems like pretty few outs here. Strike of Shadows is something. I suppose even like I suppose Soulbreaker Marketash also does a lot here.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, you could just keep up Swarm Midden, and then when Oros attacks, you animate Swarm Midden and try to trade with Oros.
yeah, unfortunately that won't work because of Prue the Worthy in Ambrose's hand.
Yeah, but at least it'll prevent you from dying, right?
Oh,
Oof.
you mean blocking the Fireweaver? Yeah.
Not a good draw. I feel like it might have even been better just to keep the land in hand in order to bluff. Okay, it seems like, yeah, Styles is going all
Yes.
in, and then Ambrose is just going to win.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad play. I think if anything, that's a pretty darn reasonable line attacking with the midden. Because just on board, you're not dead. Your opponent is going to like 1 or has to jump with the Fireweaver. Then you should have lethal next turn.
Oof, that was a very swingy game, I feel like. Or there was
Yeah,
many points
definitely.
where someone just could have won, but then they didn't.
I think it's pretty firmly in Ambrose's control for
Well,
most of it.
no,
Definitely could have swung a little bit.
I mean, on the early turns, if Styles
Oh yeah,
animated
definitely.
Swarm with it instead of playing Infectious Ego, then I think they probably just win.
Yeah, I think they had a surefire win. Looking at what Ambrose didn't do in the early turns, so they pretty clearly don't have cheap removal, as well as Ignition Ritual being the only really way out of it. Maybe you could make some kind of argument about like if Kaijao dies, then maybe Profane MSA also falls on the following turn, but well, in addition to.
Yeah.
So as far as sideboarding goes, Styles has there's a few interesting cards that might be worth noting. Xanagan seems pretty solid in this matchup, pretty back and forth. Definitely going to be able to get 5 mana. Long Forgotten clears up a few of the graveyard things that Ambrose is working with. Numo Wang maybe is interesting. Not great against Quartz Bed, but not the worst. On Ambrose's side, do you think they want key block in this matchup?
No,
Well,
they do not.
that's the sideboard plan gone.
Never mind. I think I guess they do.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this deck is supposed to sideboard. Maybe there are things you bring in from your sideboard if you just don't think it's worth grabbing them off Fireweaver. Not sure if there's that many bad cards in this deck in general. I mean, Twilight Ambush seems like fine in this matchup, and that seems like the only card that might be dead.
Ambrose is gonna mull to 5.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. Styles does have a really awkward draw, since these lands don't work together so well.
Right.
I guess Polyp Pools does enable turn 2 Soulbreaker as a threat, but
Everyone's swarming midden, as expected.
yeah, so it does look like Ambrose bottom the Hatsos maneuver, which will make this Soulbreaker trade a bit more profitably.
And from Ambrose's side, turn 1 Dark Bargain, probably. Unless Ambrose is fetching a domain or Dominion.
Yeah, Dark Bargain is a pretty good way of making it for Mulligan.
Hey, here's Provoke the Gods. So Ambrose did see Salvar's Defiance and did see Hero of Oblivion in their mulligans, so I'm wondering if Ambrose realizes what the combo is for now, or if Ambrose realizes that combo exists.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like they realized it game 1. So Styles does have the Swamp off the top of the deck, which means that Profane MSA can be dropped instead of the Soulbreaker on turn 2.
Okay, that's really good. And you even have Polypools in hand, so you don't have to fetch with Profane Emissary. Or, well, I mean, it's dead, so it doesn't matter, but...
Is one of the this is definitely the Profane MSA nerf going to double black kind of play, because otherwise Styles could have played the Polyp Pools to enable it, saving it from that blamey demise.
Yeah. And I think now, I think Styles just drops their hand, right? Plays out their hand. No, they're not going to play out their hand.
Interesting.
I guess you can mitigate the Forgotten Step and try to master your opponent. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out because Ambrose has the right colors in hand.
Oh yeah, it's the Precipice does deal with it. I don't think this is going to work out too poorly. for Styles, because Valdez is probably going to hit this Provoke the Gods. Journey's End is definitely not something Styles wanted to see because it's a letting pressure. I do think that it's probably better to just drop the hand as you mentioned, just because you get an additional bonus attack with this Rolling Midden. And hoping that the Mirror Gate Mana Screws Ambrose is a little bit optimistic.
And I mean, Styles still dropped the Temple Soulbreaker. And Soulbreaker does match up pretty well against Shiho because it trades really nicely with it. Valdez number 2. Alright, wait, you're not going to Valdez first? I feel like you should Valdez to see what's your opponent's hand before you attack.
Well, I mean, you're always attacking with Soulbreaker here, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, on the low chance that Valdez gives your opponent a choice, you might as well swing in first, right?
Yeah. Choosing low. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Still, Styles gets to completely strip Ambrose's hand.
And now does Styles name low or high here?
Oh yeah, right, that question. Yeah. The answer will determine your personality. High.
High. Crazy.
What does that say about Styles as a person?
They go for the uppercut as opposed to the gut punch, I guess.
Amazing.
So this is potentially a spot where the Shiho change is going to matter, since you are forced to discard a card with the Demigod mode now.
Yeah, that reminds me. Why does Shiho loot instead of rummage, even though it's a red card?
That's something else. Scribble. I mean, red cards can loot instead of rummage.
Yeah, but like Shiho is already so pushed. Why did it have to loot instead of rummage?
I imagine it might just play better, to be honest, because like it matters what card you discard here.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it does also have some like more direct like MSEM implications because it drawing first means that you can manipulate the draw with Profane MSA.
Right. Well, cheap block is killing Soulbreaker, so that's a really good trade.
Yeah, that's a pretty unfortunate series of draws there for Styles, where not only does Ambrose hit the 2-drop to clear the Soulbreaker, which means that the Shiho can start swinging in, but Fireweaver is also a pretty nasty value card.
A swamp. Not great.
So, what are your thoughts on Valdez versus Swing Midden here?
Start playing out Valdez's because you don't have to pay for them continuously.
Makes sense. Does run into this Flames approach in Ambrose's graveyard, which is a bit annoying.
The whole number 2.
Imagine you just always Flames approach here, right?
Yeah. Well, assuming Ambrose realizes that Flames approach is in the yard.
You
can also Fireweaver. I mean, is there something funny that you can fetch with Fireweaver?
Yeah, I mean, Fireweaver might be a cleaner kill. I mean, Fireweaver fetch Conquer Psyche on Fireweaver, grab something, 2 things.
Do you have enough mana for that?
It only takes 5, right?
Yeah, but like, you can't cast the things you grab off it.
Well, until the end of your next turn, right?
Right, but then Valdez survives for a turn. And Valdez gets the buff because you play out your Fireweaver.
I guess that's true. Only get 9 is a bit catchy, even if Styles doesn't have all that much burn.
It seems like Ambrose didn't realize that Flames approach is in yard.
Well, we'll see what they grab here.
I mean, if Ambrose grabs a removal spell, then we definitely know that they don't have, or they didn't realize that. Okay, Prove Worthy. I guess there's an argument for Prove Worthy.
I don't know if there's an argument for Prove Worthy don't attack.
Well, okay, so Valdez is buffed right now. You definitely attack there. And Ambrose is going to fire off the Prove Worthy.
Styles does need to draw... Wait, okay, I'm not entirely sold on going 4 modes there. Just because if you do hit a land drop for Shiho, you do God mode and probably win on the spot. And the fatigue prevents you from doing that.
I wonder if Styles should have animated Swarm Mid in there. Because, like, that means there's 2 Prove-worthy targets, so Ambrose can't kill both of them.
Well, I mean, you're not attacking a Swarm Mid in there, right? Because it trades with the...
Oh, yeah, right. Shiho is still, like, untapped. Okay, so here you play your second Valdez. Like, Valdez getting killed isn't actually that bad.
I mean, this is a pretty good result for Styles, all things considered. They will need to dodge Shiho God mode for at least a moment, but...
I don't think Ambrose can God build next turn.
Yeah, not with the fatigue being on top of the deck. And they didn't Flames approach last turn, so maybe they didn't notice it.
Yeah, it seems like they didn't notice. Well, I mean, technically, maybe you're holding Flames approach in yard so you can combo with Hatzo's maneuver later. Technically,
Hatzo's maneuver you imagine was on top of your deck.
I think you just throw Hatzo's maneuver out right now.
It doesn't make sense too, especially with Styles having the Mind Falters flashback or Coalesce in Graveyard.
Maybe Ambrose just forgets that Mind Falters in the yard.
I mean, I'd hope that they realize one of these Graveyard spells in yard. Oh wait, what?
Oh, aggro.
Uh,
I don't think Ambrose. Well, I mean, Styles also didn't change the power and toughness, so I guess nobody realized that. But Ambrose didn't say anything either, so I don't know.
yeah, that was
That was a
it's
misplay, right? Like I can't imagine it being anything but, right?
yeah. Emma's really not appreciating Shiho God mode very much. And Styles does draw strike from shadows, but that doesn't even answer Shiho because of the ward. So I think Styles is marginally ahead here, maybe.
Ambrose can
Strike from
always.
shadows will answer. I mean, of course, it depends on whether Ambrose is aware of the flames approach, but strike the shadows answers the flames approach. So
I don't think they're aware. Wait, okay, now they're
okay, so
aware.
now that
Maybe they're just trying to get Styles to use up all of their resources before trying to get Oros in play or something.
I mean, Horus is a really good gaming threat.
Okay, another Mind Falters. Are we gonna see a poison win?
So I imagine you have to. Okay, I don't know. Okay, there's a few lines here.
Uh,
I think I think you definitely strike from shadows here, but and then I think you also have a choice of playing at the mind falters or animating swarming midden.
Swearing Wind can't attack properly though because Oros blocks it.
Well, you strike from shadows or it's on your turn.
Yeah, but now you're not holding up removal. Ooh, corpse bed. Okay, yeah. This is why you don't play the Mind Falters.
I can't imagine there's a world where Oros isn't your best, the mind falters target, right?
What do you mean by Mind Falters target?
Oh, sorry, not my fault. Strike from shadows target.
It's definitely the best target.
So I think you like always do that and then swing with midden mind falters. Midden trades off the Fireweaver, get the rat, deal 4. And then next turn, if you draw land, you can immediately go land mind falters and mind falters.
Yeah.
Which
that is going to kill this thing before combat, right? Like you're not just going to take 3 for no reason. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see if Ambrose realizes that they have a combo in their deck.
Well, I mean, at this point, it doesn't even matter because they can just provoke gods with 2 burn spells and be done with it, right?
Right.
So
Let's
I
see if
mean,
Ambrose realizes that they can provoke for 2 burn spells and be done with it.
and I guess that does lose to discard, kind of, maybe. Though, I mean, you just grab 2 flames approaches, and I can't imagine that's losing.
You have 2 flames approaches in your deck at this point.
Oh, yeah, they have 3 main deck, and they've only played the 1, so.
Ambrose is thinking really hard about what to grab with provoke the gods.
I mean, it is like a fair bit of tutoring.
Man, am I also like that when I play H-Sack and have to decide on what to fetch with my...
You're like, oh.
Oof, yeah, Shiv. This is why you keep the Mind Falters in your hand.
So imagine the only line here styles is swing mid and attack with both. Only attacks with midden, huh?
Well, I mean, you really want to make yourself vulnerable to burn spells?
Well, the thing is that you're just not really winning, right? Because like Ambrose has Hatsu's moving yard, so
right.
And like in general, I think Ambrose's deck is just much better at top decking than mono black. Just because I mean, Amelia, you do have Bloodjay Prophet, but you're only at 7, so
yeah, only for
oh wait,
what?
So I think Ambrose does have lethal here. Oh wait, hold on, they don't have Scorch in their deck.
I mean, prove
maybe
worthy
they don't
plus
actually have lethal
Hatsuels
here.
is probably pretty. I don't see how Styles is being prove worthy plus Hatsuels reprides onto it, so that still wins the game.
I mean, Infectious Ego goes like a long way, but yeah, I guess you can do that on end of turn. So if Styles does hit an Infectious Ego, Hatsuels plus Prove Worthy will kill the Infectious Ego too. Should these end? That was I mean, it does stuff, but like you're also giving Styles Scry.
More than that, you're giving Styles an extra turn.
Doesn't not
exile not bottom. Yeah, I guess that's true.
But Ambrose also does not reprise the Hatsuos to kill the rat, which is interesting.
Do you really want to reprise your Hatsuos onto a Journey's End? Like, you could get so much more value by reprising your Hatsuos onto something that actually does damage.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like if you're in the top deck now, like, even if you're grabbing Journey's End, you should just get the value when you can, right? The opponent's hellbent, the Hatsuos kills their board. I mean, granted, their board doesn't really matter, but you double your clock. You can even hit them with the Hatsuos, so they go down to 6. So the 2/1/1s kill in 3 turns. So I guess you don't need to because this warrior can attack. But
look, if you're thinking about reprising Hatsuos onto something, you wouldn't have provoked the gods for a Journey's End. You would just
I
grab
guess
your
that's
proof-worthy and
fair.
then like, or I guess your flamed approach and then prize it onto there.
Well, so off the Journey's End, Styles did see a Mistress of the Black Orchid,
And
which
they,
they decided to bottom.
I mean,
What do you think about that?
I don't think they have. Yeah, I don't think they have time to play Mistress and hope to get something good off of it. I think they just
No,
need
they're out
action now.
6.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
dead to burn spells.
yeah, but I mean, maybe that's an upside to House's not being reprised that kills Mistress.
Well,
Ooh.
there we go.
So now I guess Ambrose is happy that they didn't reprise Hatsuo's because Hatsuo's got a lot more answers to Infectious Eco. And Styles is very happy that they bottomed that Mistress of Black Orchid.
Super lucky. I don't actually know if I don't know if that top deck's super lucky or not. Because like Styles shouldn't be getting this top deck if Ambrose actually fetched stuff that killed Styles, right?
I mean, it's still lucky. I mean, granted, it's not super lucky only hitting one ego in the top 15. That's kind of normal. But
Oof, lands off the top.
and actually, Ambrose being at 7 poison, as they're mentioning in chat, is actually getting to be a bit of a concern. Like, if they take another poison off this infectious ego, Ambrose is dying to
But
the
Jade.
Mind Falters.
Okay, so I mean, I'm assuming Styles is playing Bloodjade after this because they can gain some life off Ego. The question here is, how much life are you planning to pay for Bloodjade?
I think it mostly depends on the cards. Like,
Right.
I can't imagine you really want lands here. Maybe you take a Spoiling Midden. At the same time, Amber's deck does have a fair amount of burn, but I feel like it's pretty safe at 10 life. I think you're pretty safe at 8 life too. 6, I think just get them out in here. Amber Styles really doesn't need lands at that point.
I don't think Ambrose is chumping, right? They're not even going to trade the Soldier for... I mean, I guess Ambrose does care more about damage than Styles does. Alright, Bloodjade Prophet, let's see what it flips. Huh.
I think you're taking that Mind Falters. Not sure, but probably not the Swamp. Probably not the Mistress.
I mean, if you take Mistress plus Mind Falters, you can play out your hand, but then you go down to 6, so you're... does 6 leave you dead to any top decks?
I don't think it does, but maybe there's like a series of top decks that's a bit concerning.
Okay, they're not going to take the Mistress. They're just going to Mind Falters away the last card in Ambrose's hand, which is a land, so the Ambrose cleverly kept in hand to bait the discard spell.
Yeah, but maybe I think you always take Mind Falters there. I mean, they're at 8 poison. Like
Ignition Ritual. All right, we're back to square one.
Well, no, we're back to the Mind Falters.
Right, that's kind of close to square one.
And Ambrose doesn't have 6 lands to reprise Hatsuo's onto this Ignition Ritual.
They should have just given the Warrior to Styles instead of their land.
I'm not sure about the secret, what was being represented there, but Ignition Ritual was a sorcery, so should have been a bit clear on what was going on.
Strikes in the Shadows.
More importantly, the Mind Falter is ticking up to 9 poison. And Mind Falters off the top will be victorious. Is that going to be would that be the 3rd Mind Falters? No, that'd be the 4th Mind Falters if it was drawn. Yeah, this is why I love the Mind Falters. There's like so much random stuff.
How many lands in a row did Ambrose draw?
A couple. I think they're about equal on land draws. I think they've both drawn like 8 or so.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna see a poison win this game.
I do think it was probably right for Ambrose to play out the land, just because you really don't want to see a pay up here and then drawing like a prove worthy that you can't reprise Hatsuo's onto.
I was not playing Perfect Emissary to wisely play around any board wipes.
Does Ambrose not actually have any way to clear the Mind Falters with a single card?
Journey's End.
They only have 2 Journey's End. Actually, both the Journey's Ends on yard, funnily enough.
How did the second one get in the yard?
That's a good question, actually.
Well, Ambrose can suicide themselves with Wayfarer's drawing.
Oh, they didn't. I guess this gives another chance for Styles to top deck the Mind Falters.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Which is equally as cool.
Okay, Ambrose, now you suicide yourself. Commit Sudoku.
Didn't even play the Wayfarer Shrine, so can't do that.
No, man, not even going out in an honorable way.
So I feel like Ambrose had a lot of ways out there.
I agree.
That was the game that they traded Shiho for Valdez, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I suppose you can't fault them too much for giving Styles land as opposed to a token, which caused them not to be able to reprise the Hatsuo's, but
yeah,
it was a bit rough there. But I definitely feel like Ambrose's Prove Worthies have, or not Prove Worthies, Provoke the Gods definitely have not been that great these 2 games.
Yeah, and by not that great, I mean like not that the card's bad, but like yeah.
Yeah, but maybe could use a bit more practice, I suppose would be the way to put it. So both players have pretty slow, awkward hands, but I think of those styles, his hand is much better. Double Infection Ego and Blood J Prophet versus all removal is about where you want to be, I feel like.
What does Type Ambush actually kill in Styles deck?
Kills a fair bit because it's power or toughness to us. So
Oh.
like kills Blood Jade, kills Soulbreaker, kills
Right.
Mistress. Doesn't kill Orc, Soulweaver, or Ego.
Discarding Sear Flesh. Wait, did Styles name Sear Flesh? Why did Styles name Sear Flesh?
Well, kills Ego.
I guess.
Okay, so Ambrose draws Keylock, but doesn't have a white source.
Yeah, this hand is not a very good keep, I feel like.
I mean, Mistress will be answered by the Twilight Ambush, but makes good use of Styles as mana.
Okay, there's a white source.
So Keylock's by going to be answering this Blood J Prophet.
Yeah, but now there's no answers to the 2 Infectious Egos that are about to come down.
Yeah, and because Ambrose is on the play, they're going to need to sack the Ego ETB. One of the few benefits of being on the draw is that turn 4 Ego is going to hit a land.
Or it's going to hit a clue.
Not here, it's not.
I mean, if Ambrose plays Parting Inquiry sometime this game, like next turn, maybe it will.
Yeah, if they top deck Inquiry here, then I suppose it will. Inquiry would be a nuts draw for Ambrose.
Nuts or like just good?
That would be nuts.
Really? I mean, so it answers one Ego, but the other Ego still comes down.
Yeah, but you hit the clue. Oh, Keybox's good, though not quite as good. I mean, but what else is Ambrose like? What else can Ambrose draw to answer the Ego?
Journey's End.
Yeah, but that's probably just worse than Inquiry, right?
Yeah. Oh, Ignition Ritual.
I mean, that's also worse than Inquiry, right? Because you still have to sack the lands.
I think we're going to see Ego followed by a pay up plus Ego next turn. So if Ambrose rips a Prying Inquiry, that'd be really good.
So this key block off the top does help a lot. Because Ambrose, and that's the first Ego. Now, if Prying Inquiry is drawn here, it'd be pretty darn exceptional. Definitely, I think Ambrose's best draw.
And that's not it, but at least Ambrose just can't kill the Ego.
Yeah, this is part of why I'm not super high on Twilight Ambush.
I mean,
because Twilight Ambush could also be a Descend on the Helpless here.
Yeah, and Descend actually gives you value on the back end.
Granted, Twilight Ambush does do some new things, some novel things, but
okay, once Ego comes down, Soulbreaker will be active. What do you name with pay up? Do you name Flames Approach even though your opponent's pretty happy to discard it, or do you name Twilight Ambush even though it doesn't do much right now?
Oh god, I'd hate naming either.
Well,
that sounds hard to name Ambush.
I mean, yeah, I guess Ambush answers Soulbreaker, so that's at least one thing that they don't have to worry about.
But I mean, at the same time, Flames Approach answers Soulbreaker too, so
yeah, but Flames Approach, well, I guess Styles got what they wanted. Well, actually, with Ego down, Ambrose can't flashback Flames Approach.
Yeah, definitely coming out Styles on that exchange. Also worth mentioning that Ambrose doesn't have that many red sources. They can't even animate this Rousing Rebel.
I think they should just sack it then.
Well, I mean, if they do hit a land drop, a red source here, the Rousing Rebel does trade with the Ego. Oof. Hatz's maneuver would have answered the Ego if they kept the Flames Approach.
This is why you don't go against your opponent's pay up.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, I'm definitely much more on the, I think 90% of the time I just agree with what my opponent pays up. At least in the early game, but yeah.
Even though you tend to play linear combo decks? Or actually, no, it's just a few
linear
times.
Combo decks?
Okay, but
never play linear combo decks.
When you're playing combo deck, do you usually also go with what your opponent suggests?
I think so. I think in turn 1 or 2, yeah. Just because, give me opponent Accelerant.
Not playing Soulbreaker before combat. I guess you value the 4 damage over the land sack? Not playing Soulbreaker there felt weird.
I mean, I guess Styles knows that Twilight Ambush is in hand.
Yeah, but I think you value Swarmwind more than Soulbreaker.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, this ends up working out because Styles just didn't play it. But I was thinking that you force the Twilight Ambush on the mid-in, and then you play Soulbreaker post-combat.
But then you don't get to force a land sack off Ego.
You do, right?
You have to kill you have to kill the token so that your opponent's forced to sack the land off the Ego.
Oh, you're thinking that to force the land sack, yeah. Oh, maybe. I was thinking that Soulbreaker kills even if Ambrose draws a Journey's End. Because Soulbreaker kills in 3 hits. I guess Ambrose is that.
I was just keeping Soulbreaker in hand.
Well, I mean, I guess at this point it seems pretty fair because the Flames Approach answers it.
Yeah, but if you force the land sack, then your opponent can't flash back Flames Approach.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I mean, after Ambrose, after all these decisions have been made,
And that, yeah, it worked out really well for Styles because Ambrose top decked a land. Like, if Ambrose didn't top deck a land there, then keeping Soulbreaker in hand would have been kind of silly, I feel like.
yeah, but I mean, lands are pretty common top decks.
But so are
Besides not to play
non-lands.
the second Soulbreaker, which I think is fair.
I think we might actually get a poison kill.
I'm not super sure because I think the natural thing for to happen is this Rousing Rebel will eat the Soulbreaker, and the second Soulbreaker will eat the Rousing Rebel. So Ambrose should still be at 2 poison.
Well, well then.
I
Yeah,
think this is a bit of missequencing from Styles because if you played Ego pre-combat, Ambrose probably animates the Rebel
right. And then,
in
like,
response, and then you can Soulbreaker it.
well, I mean, still, Styles got a really good draw with multiple Eagles. Like, 3 Eagles drawn this game. This is really good.
Yeah, and this also keeps Ambrose off Hatso's mana. I think basically entirely. I think Seer Flash is the only thing they can draw that they can. I guess another Hatso also works, but
Do they have main deck Seer Flashes? Okay, yeah, they do.
yeah.
Fireweaver also can fetch Seer Flash. Or at least I hope they kept a copy of Seer Flash in the board.
Can't imagine this. Like you don't play 11 one-ofs as Fireweaver targets to sideboard substantially. It doesn't, and I can't imagine there's anything that's particularly bad in this matchup if they're keeping Twilight and Ambition.
Oof. How many lands in a row was that?
At least a couple. Amelia Styles is on 7 lands, Ambrose is on 8. Styles is on 8 now, so evenly matched on land counts.
Quote unquote evenly matched.
Oh yeah, they both drew 8.
You know what's disappointing? We're not gonna get a poison kill because damage is killing way too fast.
Man, if only Poisonous was toxic, then it'd be a double damage and poison kill.
You mean infect?
Toxic, sorry.
Isn't toxic the same thing as poisonous?
Toxic isn't a trigger.
Oh yeah, right. Technically makes Ambrose survive.
Ooh, worthy. That makes it. If Ambrose wants to, they can gain 6 and die to the Soulbreaker.
I don't think they're gonna let themselves die to the Soulbreaker. Before attacks? Okay. Weird time to play Prove-worthy, but sure.
Oh, we're not going to see poison kill. Unfortunately.
Styles is also not animating Swarming Midden for some reason.
Well,
I guess
fair.
I guess they're animating it now.
Yeah, I think it's fair not to just because you have 2 lethal threats. So Ambrose needs like specifically Prove-worthy to not die.
But like, we can wipe the board at instant speed.
I guess that's fair, but
with 1 card.
I don't know. But I think it's like a decent, just like don't overplay your hand kind of thing.
All right, Ambrose, draw something that makes you not die next turn so we can get a poison kill. Oh, right.
Fatigue.
Right, you have that on top. Ambrose also realizes. Man, remember?
So now they need to top deck. Oh, they can top deck Seer Flash, yeah.
Wait,
that doesn't give a poison kill. Because actually, I don't think they have any outs with the fatigue.
There's exactly one card that saves me here. What is it, Ambrose?
Exactly 0.
Well, no, that's not going to do it.
So
yeah,
that's some interesting games. Right, so game 1, Styles messed up a little bit. Didn't go for the perfect kill.
Didn't hedge against board wipes.
Definitely a pretty excusable mistake. Got punished for it, and then Ambrose definitely had a few lines which didn't close out the game super cleanly, so end up losing.
No, Ambrose won game 1, right?
Wait, did they win? Oh yeah, I guess they did. That was not very clean, right? And then game 2, the Shiho and Valdez trade felt pretty suspect.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to Provoke the Gods.
The Provoke the Gods with Journey's End is definitely a bit of a head scratcher. I think even if Ambrose just pays the 5 life to fetch another card, they probably end up winning that.
Well, no, they just grab the combo and they win, right?
Well, yeah, but assuming that Ambrose didn't realize that there was a combo, which I mean it's not like it's super obvious.
I mean, why else are you gonna be playing? What's that guy called? The Death Shadow. Why else are you playing Herald of Oblivion plus
Well, yeah, if you look at it like that, but I mean, you could also just say like, oh, yeah, Herald's like a reasonable hedge. I mean, you can reasonably get Herald to be a 4/4 or whatever. Not a crazy anti-aggro thing or anything. Like you play Herald and it's a 6/6 and they improve worthy back up to 13 or whatever.
Yeah, but still. Also, this deck isn't running Face-to-Dawn, I realized, which feels like a really big miss because Face-to-Dawn would have really helped Ambrose there.
Yeah. And game 3 was there anything big, strange things in game 3?
I don't think Ambrose could have won that.
Yeah, there's some sequencing things maybe, but on Styles' side at least, that were like a little bit interesting. But I think most of it was pretty solidly played.
Yeah. Well, anyways, those were the games, right? Anything else you want to say?
Not particularly.
All right. See you next time.